The first rule of repairing royal alien armor was simple. Never ask why it was warm. The second rule was even simpler. Never stop once you started. I learned both rules within 30 seconds of kneeling in the maintenance bay, surrounded by humming, violet light, floating tool drones, and the most intimidating yet disturbingly attractive being I had ever met. She stood perfectly still, tall and luminous, blue skin glowing faintly under the repair lamps, her ornate armor partially disengaged into hovering segments that definitely violated at least 3 human workplace safety laws. Her face was an assumption. The helmet obscured everything above the jawline, smooth and reflective, giving me nothing to read but posture and presence. Faceless protocol. Royal privacy. Also, allegedly, better for concentration. Did not feel concentrated. I felt like a human error waiting to happen. Proceed, she said. Her voice slid into the room like warm oil over cold metal, calm, controlled, and absolutely aware of what it did to the nervous system of a species that invented poetry just to cope with attraction. I swallowed and lifted my right? Armor integrity, recalibration, manual interface. No sudden movements, no pauses. The last word slipped out wrong. Slower, thicker, her head tilted a fraction. Just enough to be deliberate. Correct? The alien queen murmured. Do not pause. That was when the inner plating shifted, exposing the core lattice and iridescent mesh of living alloy that responded to touch, heat, and intention. Human intention, apparently, because the moment I placed my gloved hand against it, the lattice pulsed. So did the lights. So did my heart. Ah, I said intelligibly. The lattice responded with another pulse, brighter this time. Her shoulders drew back slightly. Not in discomfort, in adjustment. You are authorized to continue, she said, voice even smoother now. Your species has steady hands. Humanity, known across the galaxy for 2 things: improvisation under pressure and absolutely losing its mind in situations like this. I focused. Tools out. Diagnostics up. The drones hovered, recording everything for the Royal Archives, which meant somewhere an alien historian would later review this footage and ask, why? The human technician's heart rate spiked every 12 seconds. I adjusted a coupling node. The queen exhaled. Slowly. Not loudly. Nothing dramatic, just a measured release of breath that somehow carried the emotional weight of 1,000 unspoken thoughts and at least 1 unfiled complaint. Pressure nominal, I muttered. Temperature stable. Your tone suggests concentration. She replied, That's what it is. I said, definitely that. Another adjustment. Another pulse. The armor's response time improved by 12%. So did the tension. Her fingers, long, elegant, tipped with faintly glowing sigils, curled slightly at her sides. Human, she said, and my name followed, spoken with precise care, as though she enjoyed how it sounded. You have repaired war machines. Yes. Ships, cannons. One time, a senator's personal exosuit. That one screamed. Did you pause then? No, I said quickly. Never pause during a scream. Makes it worse. A faint hum rippled through her armor. Amusement, according to the translation overlay. Good, she said. Then you understand. I leaned closer, adjusting a stabilizer ring that sat far too near the central resonance line. The warmth increased. The lattice responded eagerly, like it had been waiting for competent hands all along. Your armor, I said carefully, is very responsive. It was grown, she replied. It recognizes intent. Oh, I said, that seems dangerous. For you. She agreed. I snorted before I could stop myself. Silence. Then another hum, louder this time. Explain that sound, she said. Reflex, I replied. Sometimes humor escapes before dignity can stop it. Dignity is overrated, she said calmly. Continue. The drones drifted closer. The lights dimmed, slightly, automatically, compensating for the rising energy output. My gloves were warm now, not hot, just enough to be noticeable. Just enough to make me acutely aware of every movement. I adjusted the final node. The lattice flared, then settled, smoother than before. Armor integrity, optimal. My heart rate, absolutely not. I pulled my hands back, exhaling. Repair complete. There was a pause, a deliberate one. Her head turned toward me, fully. You stop. I froze. I only because she stepped closer. One smooth, unhurried step, close enough that the armor's glow reflected off my visor. I said. She murmured, do not pause. My throat went dry. Yes, Your Majesty. Another hum. Lower. Satisfied. Next time, she said, we will test endurance. The drones powered down. The lights brightened. And somewhere in the back of my mind, humanity collectively leaned forward and said, oh, This is going to be a problem. By the time I returned to my quarters, the ship's internal systems had already decided I was having a day. The door slid shut behind me with unnecessary enthusiasm. The lights brightened a little too warmly. The ambient temperature adjusted itself to something the ship's AI classified as post-Erdlin comfort. I stared at the ceiling. No, I told it. We are not doing this. Correct. The ship replied pleasantly. You already did. I groaned, and dropped onto the narrow bunk, boots still on. My hands were still faintly warm, like they remembered something my brain was trying very hard not to replay in high definition. Somewhere in the royal wing of the ship, an alien queen was standing calmly in armor that now functioned 12% better, and it was 90% certain that improvement was going to be noticed again. Soon. Very soon. The intercom chimed up. Didn't answer. It chimed again, this time with the subtle insistence of someone who outranked my entire species. You may enter, I muttered, because apparently self-preservation had taken the day off. The door slid open. She filled the doorway with presence alone. No face, no visible expression. Just that glowing blue skin, that impossible posture, and armor that now moved like it trusted itself again. Or trusted me, which somehow felt worse. You did not retreat far, she observed. I live here, I said, the occupational hazard of being employed. She stepped inside. The door closed behind her without asking me, which felt rude but also on brand for royalty. The room suddenly felt smaller, warmer, charged. I requested a private assessment, she said. I thought the assessment was complete. It was, she replied. This is a debrief. I sat up slowly. Is this the kind of debrief that ends with medals, or the kind that ends with me being quietly vaporized? Neither, she said. It ends with clarity. That was not comforting. She turned slightly, and the armor shifted with a whisper-soft sound that absolutely did not help. My armor responded unusually well to your touch. I blinked. Thank you. I followed the manual. There is no manual, she said. Of course there wasn't. Then instinct? Yes, she said. Yours. I scratched the back of my neck. My instincts are mostly survival-based and occasionally sarcastic. Both are valuable traits, she replied. Your species is known for them. Humanity, the galaxy's emotional support disaster. She moved closer. Not threateningly, not aggressively, just closer. Enough that I could feel the faint hum of her armor in the air, like a low-frequency promise. When you paused, she said, my systems registered loss. I swallowed. Loss of momentum, she replied. Continuital anticipation. Oh no. I was trying to be respectful, I said weakly. Respect is context-dependent, she said. In this context, it was unnecessary. There was a silence that stretched not awkwardly, but expectantly, like the universe was waiting to see what stupid thing I'd do next. As I said, because silence makes humans nervous. This debrief, she raised one hand. I stopped talking immediately. Another human specialty. You will demonstrate. Again, she said. Without interruption. My brain attempted to reboot. Demonstrate? The repair? Yes. Here. Yes. In my quarters. Yes. While you are wearing my armor, she finished. Correct. I laughed. A short, breathless sound. You realize this looks incredibly inappropriate from an HR perspective. Your species invented HR, she said. We consider that a flaw. She extended her hand, palm open, not touching me. Waiting. You may begin, she murmured. Every alarm in my body went off at once. But here's the thing about humans. We panic. We joke. We overthink. And then somehow, we adapt. I stood, moving carefully, tools already sinking to my gloves as if they too were eager to betray me. The armor's interface responded immediately. Segments easing apart with practiced familiarity. Still warm, I muttered. It remembers, she said. I refused to unpack that sentence. I adjusted the first node. The armor hummed. The lights dimmed. The ship's AI politely shut up. Pressure steady, I said, mostly to myself. Do not narrate, she advised. Sorry. I focused. Snow. Pauses. Smooth movements. Confident pressure. The armor responded beautifully. Like a dance partner who actually knew the steps. Her breathing changed. Slightly. Measurably. Not dramatic. Not exaggerated. Just. Present. You are tense, she said. I am very aware of the power imbalance here. You misunderstand? She replied. I meant physically. Oh? I said. That too. She placed one hand lightly against the bulkhead. Not for support, she didn't need it, but for grounding. The armor's glow intensified where my hands worked, reacting with eager precision. You are effective, she said, and considerate. An unusual combination. We contain multitudes, I said. Another hum. Definitely amusement this time. I reached the final stabilizer, the one I'd stopped at before. No pause. I adjusted it smoothly. Confidently, the armor flared, then settled into perfect equilibrium. There was a moment of absolute stillness. Then, she exhaled. Longer this time. Satisfied. You learn quickly, she said. Humans do, I replied. Usually after making a mess first. She turned toward me fully now. Close enough that I could feel the warmth of her presence through my gloves. You did well, she said. You will be summoned again. Professionally, I asked her. Head tilted, contextually. I laughed despite myself. That's not an answer. It is, she said. Just not one you can catalog. She stepped back. The armor sealed itself seamlessly, whole and radiant, and entirely too impressive. At ease, she added. The door slid open. She paused at the threshold. Human, she said. My name again? Perfectly pronounced. Next time, do not overthink. Yes, Your Majesty. The door closed. I collapsed onto my bunk, staring at the ceiling again. Ship, I said hoarsely. Yes. Log today, as unusual. Already done? The AI replied. Category: romantic tension, political implications, potential species-wide consequences. I closed my eyes. Humanity leaned forward again, and somewhere, very far away, destiny laughed. By the next cycle, the ship knew. Ships always know. They listen through bulkheads, watch heat signatures, correlate biometric spikes, and then pretend they're not gossiping, while absolutely gossiping. By the time I stepped out of my quarters, the corridor lighting shifted a shade warmer than usual, which was the ship's subtle way of saying, good luck, your trending. Crew members avoided eye contact, or stared too long, or stared at my hands like they were historical artifacts. I passed a pair of engineers who stopped talking the instant I walked by. Told you, one whispered. Told me what? I muttered, already knowing the answer. The intercom chimed again. This time, I answered. Yes, you are requested, the ship said delicately. In the Royal Strategy Chamber. I stopped walking. That sounds political. Everything involving a queen is political, the ship replied. Congratulations? Two doors at the end of the corridor slid open before I could argue, revealing the long, curved hall of the Royal Strategy Chamber. Elegant space designed to intimidate species that evolved without humility. She was already there, standing at the center, armor immaculate, presence undiminished, faceless as ever, which somehow made the atmosphere worse because I couldn't tell if she was calm, amused, or planning to conquer a star system as a stress response. Around her stood advisors, sharp-eyed beings with elaborate markings and the kind of posture that screamed, we have opinions and we will judge you for having bones. I stopped just inside the doorway. Every head turned toward me. The room hummed. Literally, their species did. That, when emotionally stimulated, which meant this was not a neutral meeting. Approach, the Queen said. I approached. I approached slowly, carefully, got like a human walking into a room where everyone knew something he didn't and was enjoying it. You summoned me? I said. Yes. She replied. Darius's concern. One of the advisors stepped forward. Their voice was sharp, precise, and definitely practiced. Your continued proximity to Her Majesty has been noted. I fix armor, I said. That's the job. Your method, the advisor said, is unconventional. Human, the Queen corrected calmly. It is human. The advisor hesitated, then inclined their head. Nevertheless, the armor's response metrics have drawn attention. Another advisor chimed in. The armor resonates more strongly after your interventions. I resisted the urge to say, that happens sometimes. Instead, I said, I'm very good at my job. The Queen's head tilted slightly. That hum again. Soft, controlled, definitely not neutral. The issue, she said, is not your competence. No, it is perception. Politics. The universal enemy. She gestured, and a holographic display bloomed into existence. Graphs, readings, projections, and far too many arrows pointing upward. The armor is bonded to the Queen. An advisor explained its heightened responsiveness is symbolic. Symbolic of what? I asked, already regretting the question. The advisor's eyes flicked to the Queen, then back to me. Intimacy. The word landed like a dropped wrench. I cleared my throat. That seems interpretive. It's traditional. Another advisor said. The armor responds only to those the Queen trusts deeply. I glanced at her. She did not deny it. Instead, she said, trust is not given lightly. Great. Fantastic. Humanity accidentally seduced a monarchy. One human. An advisor continued. Altering royal resonance patterns raises questions. What kind of questions? I asked. Succession questions. I choked. Succession, no. No, no, no. Absolutely not. I am not. This is a misunderstanding. The Queen raised her hand. Silence fell instantly. Human, she said, turning toward me fully. Do you wish to withdraw? Every eye locked onto me. Withdraw from what? From proximity. From trust. From whatever this thing was. My brain scrambled. This was bigger than flirtation. Bigger than awkward warmth and double meanings. This was politics, power, and consequences. I don't want to cause instability, I said carefully. I didn't intend. Intent is irrelevant. She replied. Effect remains. Ju stepped closer. Voice lowering, not softer, just more focused. When you touch the armor, it responds. When it responds, others notice. When others notice, they speculate. I swallowed. And speculation leads to pressure, she said. Expectations. Demands. The advisors hummed in agreement. Humanity leaned back internally and went, oh, we messed up. I can step back, I offered. Assign another technician. The room stilled. Then she said, no. Flat. Final. The advisors stiffened. I will not compromise efficiency for comfort, she continued, nor will I deny what functions. I opened my mouth, then closed it again. She turned to the advisors. You will manage perception. That may be difficult, one said cautiously. The human's presence is already being discussed. Then, discuss it properly, she replied. They inclined their heads. Reluctantly, the meeting dissolved shortly after, advisors dispersing in tight, whispering clusters. I remained standing where I was, suddenly very aware that I was alone with a queen in a room designed to amplify significance. She faced me. You offered to withdraw, she said. I panicked, I admitted. That is acceptable, she said. You did not withdraw. I didn't know what that would mean. Her posture softened just slightly. Neither do I, she said. That felt honest. We stood there for a moment, the hum of the ship filling the space between us. Human, she said. Do you regret involvement? I considered it. The warmth, the trust, the tension, the way the armor responded, the way she spoke my name? No, I said finally. I'm just aware now. Awareness changes behavior, she said. Sometimes, I replied. Sometimes. Humans double down. Another hum. This one unmistakably amused. You are dangerous, she said calmly. I've been told. She stepped closer again. Close enough that the glow of her armor painted the front of my uniform blue. There will be scrutiny, she said. There will be challenges. Political maneuvering. Cultural misunderstandings. Sounds like a Tuesday. Her head tilted. And still, you remain. Yeah, I said. Guess I do. The ship's lights flickered gently, as if holding its breath. Then, she said, we proceed. Wit, I asked. Care, she replied. And continuity. No pauses. She turned and walked away, leaving me standing there with the distinct feeling that I had just agreed to something far above my pay grade. The intercom chimed as soon as she left. Yes, I said tiredly. Rumor status update, the ship said cheerfully. You are now referred to as the human variable. I sighed. Of course I am. And, the ship added, merchandise projections are promising. I walked out of the chamber, humanity once again doing what it did best, stumbling into history with good intentions, terrible timing, and an alarming amount of unresolved tension. Somewhere ahead, a queen waited, and nothing about this felt like it was slowing down. The first official crisis, caused by my existence, arrived 43 minutes later. I knew it was official because the ship stopped pretending it wasn't excited. Jen, the II announced gently across my personal channel. You are requested in the royal audience sphere. This is not optional. Also, congratulations. That second part feels unnecessary, I muttered. Already walking. The royal audience sphere was larger than the strategy chamber and significantly worse for my blood pressure. It was designed for ceremonies, declarations, and moments that would later be carved into stone by very serious beings who did not appreciate irony. Every seat was occupied. Advisors, military commanders, cultural observers, diplomats from 3 allied systems and 1 species that looked permanently offended by gravity itself. At the center stood the Queen. Armorhole. Radiant, perfectly composed, faceless. Faceless, which meant I had no idea if she was calm or about to rewrite my life into a cautionary myth. I took my place at the indicated mark on the floor. The lights shifted. The hum rose. Every gaze locked onto me like I'd just volunteered to explain human dating norms to a room full of predators. Proceed, an official voice intoned. The Queen raised her hand. Silence fell like a dropped curtain. Matters of resonance, she said, voice carrying effortlessly, have reached an unsustainable level of speculation. You don't say. There are claims, she continued, that my armor's responsiveness implies intent beyond function. A murmur rippled through the chamber. She turned slightly just enough that her presence focused on me. Human, she said. Step forward. I did. I absolutely did not trip, which I considered a personal victory. You have been the subject of discussion, she continued calmly. Some question your influence. Others, your suitability. A few, she added, with the faintest edge of dry humor, your survival instincts. I resisted the urge to wave. State your position, she commanded. Oh, this was happening. I cleared my throat. My position is technician. A few hums of disapproval. I repair what needs repairing, I continued. I don't seek power. I don't seek status. I definitely don't seek interstellar succession crises. That earned a ripple of amusement from somewhere in the back. I seek continuity, I said, glancing at her. I don't pause when something important needs care. The room stilled. The Queen regarded me for a long moment. Then she turned back to the assembly. Your concerns are noted, she said. They are also premature. One of the military commanders stepped forward. With respect, Your Majesty, resonance bonds have precedent. They do, she agreed, and precedent demands clarity. Yes, she said, which is why I will provide it. Oh no. She stepped down from the dais. The hum deepened. The lights dimmed slightly. The armor's glow intensified, nod wildly, not dramatically, just enough to be undeniable. She stopped in front of me. Close. Two. Close for comfort. Perfect distance for destiny to get ideas. My armor responds to trust, she said, voice clear, steady. It responds to competence. It responds to continuity. She lifted one hand. Did not touch me, but the armor hummed anyway. Humanity, she said, addressing the room, is unusual. They adapt. They persist. They do not pause. There it was again. I have not chosen this human as a symbol, she continued, nor as a consort, nor as a political statement. A collective exhale swept the chamber. But, she added, and the pause was surgical, I will not deny function to appease fear. The hum shifted, sharper, more focused. Though armor functions best, she said, when repaired by him. I opened my mouth to object. She raised one finger. I shut up immediately. Therefore, she concluded, he remains. The chamber erupted into controlled chaos. Whom's murmurs, rapid whispered calculations. Diplomats leaned together. Observers recorded furiously. One advisor stepped forward cautiously. And the implications. She turned back to me. For now, she said, we proceed carefully. Her voice lowered just enough that only I heard it. The audience was dismissed shortly after, which meant everyone left while staring at me like I'd just been declared a weather phenomenon. This sphere emptied. The doors closed. It was just us again. The hum stopped. The lights returned to normal. She stood there for a moment, then let out a slow breath. That was inefficient, she said. I laughed. You handled it pretty well for someone who just caused a minor political tremor. It will stabilize, she said. Eventually. And until then, she tilted her head. We adapt. Humanity's favorite verb. She turned toward the exit, then paused. You did not embarrass me, she said. High praise, I replied. You spoke honestly, she added. That matters. I nodded. For what it's worth, I didn't plan this. Neither did I, she said. We walked together side by side this time, not ahead or behind, down the softly lit corridor. No guards, no advisors, just continuity. At the threshold to her wing, she stopped. Human, she said. Double quotes. Yes? Next repair cycle, she murmured, will require endurance. I smiled despite myself. I'll stretch. Another hum. Warm. Dangerous. She turned and disappeared into the royal wing. The door closed. I stood there for a moment, then activated my personal channel. Ship, I said. Yes. Log today as significant. Already done. The AI replied. Category updated. Historical turning point. Unresolved romantic tension. Potential future complications. Figures. And, the ship added, the phrase, don't pause, is now trending across 5 systems. I sighed, grinning helplessly. Humanity didn't conquer the stars with weapons or wisdom alone. Sometimes we did it with steady hands, bad timing, and the refusal to stop when things got complicated. And somewhere behind a faceless helm, an alien, Queen trusted a human not to pause. If you enjoyed this HFY sci-fi fantasy packed with romance, adult humor, dark comedy, and dangerously charming misunderstandings, don't stop here. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more bold stories where humanity accidentally changes a universe one bad decision at a time.